When I went to go see Star Wars The Force Awakens, I was very excited. I was also very nervous. I asked my friends, I was having a lot of anxiety about the film because I was worried. It's been, 10 years, or it had been 10 years since the last Star Wars movie came out. The prequel trilogy was not that good. So, it was under a new leader and director with J.J. Abrams, which, don't get me wrong, I love J.J. Abrams, and everything I've seen of his, what I've enjoyed. But it was just, there were a lot of unknowns going into The Force Awakens, so I was really nervous that it was just going to be bad. My nervousness was washed away when I saw it. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And this is kind of the same feelings that I had going into Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. It's been around 10 years since the last book came out, The Deathly Hallows. It's been a little bit since the last movie came out. Harry Potter just hasn't been, a really big thing, so it's kind of, this new resurgence, just like Force Awakens was, this new resurgence of hype and fandom for Harry Potter for this new chapter in the series, because it was 7 parts, and now the 8th story was coming out. But it was coming out in a different format. It wasn't a novel. It was a play. We weren't going to be reading a book. We'd be reading a script of it. So there were a lot of unknowns going into it. So I was really nervous. I was nervous to the point that even though I had the book on the day it came out, it took me a minute to really open it up and get into it because I was just nervous about how I was going to accept it. Because, I grew up with Harry Potter. I started reading Harry Potter, The Sorcerer's Stone came out when I was around the same age as Harry was, and I've grown up with those characters, so it's a personal thing for me. But just like The Force Awakens, my nerves and anxiety was washed away as I got into it, and I really enjoyed reading it. It was a fun story. I enjoyed, revisiting these old friends that I grew up with and having the chance to see where they are now. And, it's been, in the story, it's been, 15, 20 years since they defeated Voldemort. So it's nice to see where they are now in their lives, what they're doing, how they're doing, the problems and the new experiences and challenges they face of raising a family. And it was just great to have the opportunity to go on this new adventure with them that kind of delved back in time with some new things. It was definitely a nostalgia trip. Was it, as good as the books? Well, no. Harry Potter, came out in 7 novels, and a novel gives you the advantage of you have inner monologues, you have a lot more dialogue, you have a lot more description of the world that the writer is painting for you as you're reading the book. You get a lot more detail and a lot more substance in a novel because you have that luxury, whereas in a play you have the dialogue and you have the stage directions. Not to say that a script on its own can't be good or that stage directions can't be good. If you look at Tennessee Williams' plays, his stage directions are almost poetic. But that's not usually the case. Usually the stage directions are pretty bare bones just to give you an idea or to show you what's going on and to give you direction of how to do it. But ultimately, the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child script is not a complete thing. And it won't be a complete thing until we see it on stage. Because there's so much more that directors and actors and set designers and costume designers and everyone involved in bringing a script to life and putting it on stage live for the audience. So much more goes into it. So much more is fleshed out of what you see. That ultimately, however much I enjoyed reading the script or however much you enjoyed reading the script, it's not a complete thing. And I think that kind of put a lot of people off. Working at a bookstore selling the book, there were a lot of people that would come in looking for the new Harry Potter book, and I would tell them, okay, this is the new Harry Potter book. It's a play. It's the script of the play. It's like, oh, so it's the dramatization of the new book? I was like, no, it's the new story. This is the book you're looking for, but it's not a novel. It's a play, and it kind of put a lot of people off. It wasn't really what they were expecting. I'm not sure why, because it was always advertised as the 8th story is going to be a play. The book that is coming out is going to be the script of the play. But it put a lot of people off, and it wasn't what a lot of people were expecting. I have seen a lot of criticisms for the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, some of which I don't really agree with. The biggest one I've seen, and the most common one I've seen, is that it reads, or it is, just fan fiction. And I have to disagree. Looking at it, Star Wars The Force Awakens, just to go back to Star Wars for a minute, Star Wars The Force Awakens is more fan fiction than Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Star Wars The Force Awakens had a new director, new writers, under a completely completely new Disney umbrella. It was a completely new thing with little to no involvement from George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars. So really, that was more fan fiction than Harry Potter and the Cursed Child was, which the J.K. Rowling wrote a story to be adapted into a play, and that's what the play is. It's the adaptation of the story she wrote to be adapted into a play, and she stayed involved in the play even after they adapted the story and wrote the script. She stayed involved. So you had direct involvement from the creator. So just in that fact alone, it's not fan fiction. Now, whether it reads like fan fiction, that's difficult to say, because I've read some really good fan fiction. I've read some really bad fan fiction. I've also seen some really great canon. I've also seen some really bad canon, like the prequel trilogy of Star Wars. That's canon, but it's not that good. So to say it reads like fan fiction, you can interpret that in a lot of different ways, but I didn't think so. It felt, I fully was engrossed and believed that this is canon. This is something that is happening, that has happened in the official Harry Potter universe, and we're in this day and age where everything is its own cinematic or literary universe unto itself. So I don't think it read like fan fiction. I didn't read it like fan fiction. I read it fully convinced and engrossed as I did the other books. Now, again, it wasn't as fleshed out as the books have been, and that was a disadvantage of just the form it was in. It was in script form. But ultimately, I really, really enjoyed reading it. It was a lot of fun. It was a nice nostalgic trip back to visit old friends and to have this new adventure. And, like growing up with Harry Potter, a lot of the problems he faced just as a teenager growing up in school, it was really easy to identify. Now, don't get me wrong, Harry Potter and everyone was like 40 in The Cursed Child, and I'm only 26, so no, I can't really relate with, having a family and being married and having, a whole lot more adult responsibilities than I currently have at my young age of 26. But it was easy to kind of look forward to relating to that, and also able to look back and understand what these kids are going through, the younger characters in the book, to see what they're to remember going through those same things as when I was their age, and to kind of look at it in hindsight, and to kind of see where both ages of characters are coming from. I really enjoyed it. I think you should check it out. If you can see it on stage, I would say definitely do it. I would love to see it on stage. Even if it's just performed by an amateur group, I would love to see it. I think that's the only way you're going to get a real, complete, finished product of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, or if they make a movie, which I'm pretty sure they're already going forward and making a movie with it, because as much as I would love to see it on, the big screen and see it without having to go to London and see the play there, they can make, billions of dollars with a new Harry Potter movie, just like Fantastic Beasts, which again, I'm looking forward to that. If they make it, we'll pay for it. What did you think of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child? Let me know in the comments, and share the video so other people can join in the conversation. Follow me on all the internets. Check me out on Patreon if you want to support more of my content, and check out TempleofGeek.com, where you can check out my content and content from other creators. Follow me on all the internets, and subscribe to my channel so we can geek out some more. Thanks for watching, and have fun. So Captain America, Thor, Hulk.